Viewpoint from Overseas. I am your host, Misbah Azam. Ali Hassan Samanthor and Riaz Haq are joining me in today's show. Riaz Haq is in our studio here in San Jose, while Ali Hassan Samanthor is joining us from outside the town. We are going to discuss three major topics today, and we will see if time permits, we will add some more stuff in that. First of all, the most gruesome incident happened in Pakistan, where the university student, his name was Mashaal Khan. He was lynched by the mob on the allegation of blasphemy. We will discuss on that, and we will I will talk to my panelists that how do they see and where the whole society, whole culture is drifting towards. Also, there is interesting development happen. The alleged Indian spy, Mr. Kulbhushan Yadav, he was convicted for his crimes of espionage and subversion in Pakistan, and he was awarded the death sentence. And I will ask my panelists how do they see all this issue, and where are we heading on this whole thing. Then our own president, Mr. Donald Trump, is now facing crises in Syria and then in North Korea, and pretty much things are changing now from he's deviating from what he kind of promised during his campaign, where he said that he will be more like a Jacksonian. He will take the Jacksonian kind of doctrine, and he will be kind of trying to stay away. But it seems he's tilting towards more of a Jeffersonian doctrine, and he's now getting involved there. And just a day before yesterday, US used the Moab, the mother of all bombs, which is the biggest bomb in the US arsenal, which is only smaller than the nuclear, which is not the nuclear bomb. And it was dropped on the Nangarhar, and allegedly there was some ISIS caves which was targeted. So we will discuss all these three issues. So Ali, I will start from you. Just tell me, what do you think about this mob lynching, and where as a nation, as a country, as a society we are heading towards? Ali.
Thank you, Misbah. I think that it's very obvious that Pakistan has slowly become a failed state where people do not have a lot of trust in the institutions of Pakistan, and similarly they do not have any trust in the judicial system, and this mob mentality is taking over, that if you think about something being right, then just you go with the mob and take care of it. And this has been even promoted by the political leaders like Imran Khan. That dharna is pretty much a mob thing, that a mob can go and take over things and help with the system. Now, in this case, obviously, we do not know what charges were there, and it happened so quickly that the people who came, they started beating. There were two of these people, Abdullah and Mashaal Khan, and Abdullah was lucky that he was taken to the hospital, whereas Mashaal Khan was fired on, and then he was beaten to death. And if you really want to change anything in Pakistan with respect to these blasphemy laws, there is only one solution to this. And that is that the state has to come out of this business of religion. That Pakistan should not call itself Islamic Republic of Pakistan. There is no need to do that. And then after that, all the laws that are geared towards that Islamic identity, they also need to be removed. That is the only real solution that will prevent incidents like this. Otherwise, this will just go on. There is no stopping of this tide.
Yes. So if you change the name Islamic Republic of Pakistan, things will be okay?
No, I don't think so. I don't think the issue is the name or Islam itself. I think the real issue is just basic rule of law and the society itself, which has been significantly radicalized, where they think it's okay to take somebody's life, even just because of an accusation. These are the issues that really need to be addressed, and it is not something that just the state can address. The state obviously has to play a huge role in enforcing the rule of law, but the society at large has to play an even bigger role in changing the hearts and minds of the people and tell them it is not acceptable to go and take somebody's life merely on the basis of an allegation or accusation, or because you think so. You don't have the right to act as both the judge, the jury, as well as the executioner. That this is the responsibility of the state. Whatever the laws are there, the enforcement is not, for you as an individual to carry out. This is vigilantism and is unjust. It is for the state to bring charges and to do whatever is necessary if there is a real violation of any laws. This is a broader issue. I mean, in this case, it happened to be a blasphemy charge. There have also been people lynched because of accusations of theft or robbery
and all that.
So yeah, it's happened several times. So it's a much bigger issue. If it's not as simple as just becoming, calling yourself a secular state and scrapping these laws. Whatever laws you put in, if the society is not willing to accept them, it's going to change nothing.
Ali, I will ask you a little bit further on that, and I will put the same question to Riaz Haq also. Look at it, state. When we talk about the state, that a state should not tolerate that. A state is doing these kind of things. They just take people from the streets, from their houses, put them inside, beat them, and then leave them, and they cannot even talk about it after that. So this is going on all over. My second point is that, and I want you to answer both questions, then I get to Riaz Haq asking same question. If you look at these kids, they born in 90s or something, if you go back in time, I mean they are young people. That time country had a democracy, then there was a long liberal era came during President General Musharraf. After that People's Party came, that is another liberal party. Then PMLN came. PMLN is also not a right-wing extremist party, So they are not, they did not born during the time of General Ziaul Haq, when these things were being presented, projected all over on TV and media and everywhere. So how you see these two things? Can you please answer?
Yeah. No, first of all, this is not quite right to say that state is doing the unlawful stuff, that state is abducting people, because we do not know who is abducting people, and especially the human rights advocates, especially on social media, who is abducting, those people. But at the same time, we see the state as being silent on these issues. We want the state to be vocal. We want the state to protest these abductions, and we want the state missionary to find out for us who is doing this. Unless that is done, obviously people are going to say that it is the state, it is the deep state, it is, the intelligence agencies are doing it. So what we want from our intelligence agencies, from our civil government, is to go and find out who is abducting, who abducted these 5 bloggers? Who abducted this guy Nizami? Who is doing this? Obviously we know about Professor, the Karachi University professor, because he was taken by Rangers. But then other people who just disappear, we want to know, and we want the state to positively tell us who is behind these abductions. Otherwise, this is a fair game, that anybody would think that it is actually the state which is behind that. As far as the second question is concerned, that whereas these people who were part of the mob that killed, Mashaal Khan, they were not raised in the Ziaul-Haq era. The thinking is that it's only during the Ziaul-Haq regime that this thought of the political Islam and everything that goes with it, it basically evolved only at that time, and after that it died down. It did not. And what happened was that after 9/11, there is a great confusion among Muslims, because the only leadership that Muslims are seeing is the leadership that is standing against the West, and in this conflict, basically, going with the war, they are at a war with the West. The other group, which is more peaceful, that group is being kicked out by the group which is more aggressive. So what is happening is that impressionable minds, young people, this is what the kind of leadership they see in Islam, which is the one which is the jihadi, the aggressive kind. And I think that these people are the mob that came to kill Mashaal Khan, obviously belong to that ideology.
Yes.
I think the problem that we have is that not much has fundamentally changed since the Zia era. The textbooks are essentially the same. Many of the laws that he introduced, like hudud and minor changes, but other than that, they're the same. A lot of the people who are in charge grew up in the 80s, the professors, the teachers, the faculty. Many of the judges, one example is this judge, Shaukat Aziz Siddiqui, a very extreme right-wing judge. He used to be a member of Jamaat Islami, who has been threatening the government with consequences unless they act on blasphemy cases.
Yeah.
So we have pretty serious problems. There are people who need to be purged from the system in order to bring about a change. And nobody's willing to take that on. We allow a lot of these things to happen in the name of democracy, in the name of justice, that are absolutely abhorrent to any, civilized, country or society. A judge like Shaukat Aziz Siddiqui, who represented, the Lal Masjid crowd,
yes, that's
and then he even had sympathies for Salman Taseer's killer, Mumtaz Qadri, should not be a judge. I don't know what's the process to take care of these people. He's Islamabad High Court judge, a very activist judge. And he just orders the institutions, the government, to just come in front of him and explain why they're not doing this or that. And recently he's been after the blasphemy cases.
Yeah, but he was also the judge there one of the judge who kind of endorsed the death sentence of...
he didn't have a choice in that. You know what he did, though? He took out the terrorism charge from them.
Okay.
And you know why he did that? Because when they were executing people, they were giving priority to those who had been convicted under terrorism. So he was trying to save him. That didn't work out very well for him because the Supreme Court reversed him.
I see. Okay.
He went through a process.
I see. Okay.
So I think we have a pretty big problem. Then you have political leaders like, Ghulam Balor, who's an ANP member.
Yeah, you're right.
He offered a reward for somebody to, kill someone for blasphemy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is such... And this is supposed to be a left-wing, liberal, progressive party. And they behave like that. So we have a pretty serious problem. I think these lines that we talk about between liberal, progressive, right, a lot of these lines are blurred when it comes to these issues.
Yeah, that's true. Just last year, there is one of India's alleged spy was taken in Balochistan, who was found in some subversive activities inside Pakistan. His name was Kulbhushan Yadav, and it is being said that he is the serving Indian naval officer who was who came to Chabahar, and from Chabahar he came on a fake passport. He was in Pakistan and getting involved in those terrorist activities inside Balochistan and inside Karachi. So just last week he was awarded the death sentence, and I will ask my panelists what they see, how this thing will come up, and how it will impact on India and Pakistan relations. Yes.
Yeah, so I think one confusion that needs to be cleared up is that this is not simply an espionage case where a person was caught who was just collecting intelligence and transmitting it back to his country. In this instance, the allegation is that he was orchestrating terrorist attacks in Pakistan, bomb blasts that killed hundreds of people. So it's a much more serious charge. It's basically a charge of mass murder or massacres, which carries a much bigger penalty than just being a spy and reporting intelligence to your country. The second thing that needs to be understood is that this was an attempt to try and sabotage the China-Pakistan economic corridor, which is of strategic importance to both China and Pakistan. And Pakistan wants to send a message, a clear message to anybody wanting to sabotage it, that there will be major consequences for trying to do that they can't simply get away with something like this. India has been very clear. They're opposed to CPEC. They have said multiple times that they don't want this to happen. They have all kinds of objections to it. So it's not even a kind of a guess that they're doing this. I mean, this is pretty much a confirmed case that they have been trying to influence it, and they've actually openly come out in support of the Baluch insurgents now. Even the Prime Minister has spoken out, which is very unusual for a country to directly interfere in another country's affairs when it is not like Kashmir. Kashmir is a disputed territory, but Balochistan is not a disputed territory. The entire world accepts it as a part of Pakistan, and they're trying to interfere in that and trying to sabotage it and kill people in the process. So those are the two very important things that need to be understood, that this is clear messaging going on. Don't mess with CPEC, stay away from it. If you do, there'll be consequences.
Ali, somebody wrote very interesting thing some time ago, and they said that India is probably it's a very rare example in the world where a country helped breaking up the neighboring country. And even now, Indian media, Indian leadership, they just boast about it, breaking the country, and we will isolate them, and finally we will make pieces of that, we will take Balochistan out, and things like that. So after all that, how you see that kind of thing, and Kulbhushan Yadav's incident, how anybody can believe that Kulbhushan Yadav's incident was just a fake thing and he should not be punished the way he is now?
Yes, thank you, Misbah. Yeah, the thing is, you understand what I stand for. Obviously, I think that Pakistan, sharing the longest border with India, should have very good relations with India. That is a given. So if our intelligence agencies captured somebody who was from India, was a spy, was involved in these terrorist activities that we are being told that this person was involved in, then this should have been, the proceedings of this case should have been very transparent. This guy should have been given consular access. That means that the Indian diplomats should have been allowed to meet him. And all the proceedings of this case should have been very open to the public. But we don't see that. Everything was behind closed doors. So I do not know what exactly went on and how much to trust what happened. So I mean, I have serious reservations about this whole thing.
Ali, where is the example where the spies are given the consular access? I don't think the spies are ever given the consular access.
Yeah, no, the thing is this, that although there are examples and I can really dig them out, but suppose there are no examples. Still, don't you think that it is in our interest to have good relations with India, or should we always have these kind of relations in which any development project that we want to have in Pakistan, they should be running into the danger of being opposed by India, and India should be doing something against it? Is that what is in our interest? Obviously not. So suppose there is no, although I think that there are precedents, but if suppose there are none, still you do this because the neighboring country is asking for such a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, I mean, it is very interesting that people say we should make sure that relation with India are not bad, should be okay and all. But so far, the people, the critics of this argument always say that you know, I mean, most of the time it is Pakistan who has to give the concessions to India. You know, India takes people and put them in jail. You cannot do anything. You know, they just openly saying we will cut the Balochistan, we will take over Kashmir. They openly say that we will start subversive activities in Pakistan, although he was not official that time, but later on he became an official. So, you know, why Pakistan always has to be just worried about the relationship, because relationship are nowhere now, and there is no reason to believe that coming days or coming months suddenly breakthrough will happen and India-Pakistan relations will be okay if Kulbhushan Yadav was sent back to India.
Yeah, with this mindset, obviously things will go wrong. The other way, things have a chance of going the right way. But if you go with this mindset, then obviously the relationship between India and Pakistan will get worse and worse, and both countries will try to do harm to each other. And obviously Pakistan, being a smaller country, has more potential of being suffering from the animosity of this bigger country. So that is not the right path to take. And this kind of thinking that we have been giving concessions,
Okay.
you can hear in India.
Yeah, okay.
Same thing.
Yeah.
India has been giving concessions and this and that. So this is not a very strong argument.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's naive to think that by, you know, not sentencing somebody who's been trying to disrupt development projects in your country, killing people, you know, be allowed to go scot-free, be given consular access and treated as a normal matter. It just doesn't make sense. I think the fact is that if Pakistan acted in this way, it would be interpreted as a weakness by the Modi government, which is known to be a very highly, you know, Hindu nationalistic, very right-wing, very extreme kind of a government that wants to pursue an agenda that is essentially to destroy Pakistan. I think we should have the good relations with our neighbors who want to have good relations with us, not those who wish us harm, who wish to destroy us. And in this case, Mr. Modi has made it pretty clear with all of his actions so far that he has no interest in having a peaceful South Asia.
Okay, so let us go to our third topic. We have only 5 minutes left. So, Riaz, what Mr. Trump is doing, he came as a Jacksonian, he became Jeffersonian.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's not unusual for U.S. presidents to, you know, talk about isolationism, talk about protectionism when they seek election, and then after becoming president, after getting elected, completely doing a 180 degrees, you know, shift. This happened to George W. Bush. You know, he used to talk about let's be humble, let's be friends with other countries. let's look after ourselves, let's fix our economy, let's do.
You know about George Bush Jr.
George W. Bush.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
Junior.
Yeah, yeah. And then what happened? And then 9/11 happened.
Yeah, then everything changed.
And then he said, okay, let's go bomb everybody.
Yeah.
So he's going through the same process. And the problem in this case is that he doesn't even have all the team together, and he's confronted, and he has absolutely no knowledge of what's going on. He's, as somebody put it, he's not only uninformed, but he's unformed. He has no core beliefs, no set of ideology, which should be a good thing too, because then, you know, he's willing to be more pragmatic.
As long as he has a good team.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but he still needs a good team, people who can give him the right kind of advice. And I think he's getting there, but slowly. I mean, the fact that he's gotten rid of Steve Bannon is a very good thing. The fact that he's gotten rid of, you know, Flynn is a good thing. I mean, these are important changes. Michael Flynn was, you know, he would have been a disaster in this case. I mean, and particularly Bannon is sitting in the National Security Council at a time like this when there are two major crises like North Korea and Syria erupting both at the same time. So I think there is hope. But I think in the meanwhile, he's sending very strong signals. Trump, for example, with this bombing in Afghanistan, with the mother of all bombs being dropped there. He's sending a lot of strong signals, not just to ISIS in Afghanistan or elsewhere, but also to Iran, which has a huge complex underground for developing nuclear weapons. North Korea, that has you know, similar activities going on. That, hey, we've got this bomb. We don't have to cross a nuclear threshold and still, you know, destroy this.
Destroy this. Samanto.
Yeah, so I think that nobody should doubt, Misbah, that this country has a very strong military industrial complex and the lobby that is with this complex. And you can call it a deep state, and they get to have things their way. The problem with this president is that whereas other presidents, they try to rein in that military-industrial complex, this guy is believing in the hands-off, you know, presidency and letting this military-industrial complex go and do whatever it wants to do via the army. And this is a very dangerous approach to take, because we know that the army personnel is not educated in political affairs, and they want to have a military solution to everything. And this is what really bothers me, seeing what is happening, the confrontation, the kind of confrontation that is taking place not only in Syria, but also vis-a-vis North Korea. And it is not going a very, you know, a good way, the way things are going.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you heard the views of our panelists, and please keep watching Viewpoint from Overseas. This is your host, Ms. Baz. Thank you and good day.